Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Thank you for joining us on the Varsity Media Sports Network, an opening season matchup between two perennial contenders in Nassau County, the Southside Cyclones and the Syosset Braves. And this game is brought to you, first of all, by Syosset Hospital, Northwell Health. And it's also brought to you by Michael Lucchese of Raymond James. And finally, this matchup is brought to you by Breakout Goaltending. I'm Gavin Shaw, alongside my partner, Dave Franklin, a former midfielder at Jericho High School, Emory, and of course, the Israeli national team. And Dave, a thrilling matchup to open the season. Two coaches who love to play difficult non-conference schedules, challenge their teams as much as possible, and this is a great example of it in the opener.
Absolutely an excellent way to kick the season off. Out-of-conference rivalry, two coaches who know each other well from being teammates in college at Adelphi University, Cyclones and Braves. It's going to be a good one.
And let's take a look at some of our impact players for the visiting Cyclones. Owen West, of course, the younger brother of Brady West, the second-team All-Long Island performer. He's graduated. He's on to Loyola. Owen West taking up the mantle this year, already a talented player.
Owen has to fill a lot of shoes emotionally, operationally, productively for his older brother, but he is a talent all on his own. He could really facilitate from the midfield. He's very strong on loose balls, and he will be playing for Brad Ross at Bryant University next year.
And then speaking of big-time college commits, in the net for Southside, it's senior goaltender Tommy Gentile, the BU commit, one of the best returning goalies, maybe not just in Nassau County, but in all of Long Island.
Well, Tommy Gentile is certainly teed up to have a great collegiate career in the Patriot League, but he would certainly like to end his high school career with a Class B championship for Southside. This is a great goaltending battle that we have today between Gentile and Zach Finkelstein, who will be in between the pipes for Syosset.
Yeah, so let's take a look right on cue. Our impact players for Syosset. You mentioned Finkelstein. What does he do so well in net?
Ultimately, he has a lot of experience. Syosset has a great pedigree of producing college-level goaltending talent. Finkelstein was committed to play Division I lacrosse at Binghamton University, has recently decommitted, and now will pursue opportunities to simply be a student at either the University of Texas, the University of Wisconsin, or the University of Georgia. None of those universities have varsity lacrosse. Texas and UGA have very good club programs, so we'll see what happens there, but Coach Calabria has told us, regardless of his college commitment, he is 100% all in on getting Syosset back to the Class A championship. Dylan Stadler, really the straw that stirs the drink for Syosset at the midfield, was very limited last year with a hip injury. He ultimately had to keep track of his own workload and take himself out of many games last year, but we could only hope that he's at full 110% going into this 2023 season.
His best game last season, the closest thing he had to a complete game, was the season opener against Southside. Had 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. High expectations for Stadler, high expectations for Southside as a whole as we take a look at the Cyclones starting lineup, and this is a team with a whole lot of returning talent. They have 27 juniors, Dave. That is the most Steve DiPietro has had in his 17 seasons at the school, and you see them stacked throughout this starting lineup.
Definitely. His Coach DiPietro's son, Cole, Michael Aiello, and of course, Muscarella, who we'll see coming off, who will be Southside's backup goalie. Those three kids, their three fathers, they've really started they really built a great foundation from this program with their children, going all the way back Very strong junior class, as you said. The senior class, very talented, certainly knows how to take initiative, but a little bit more toned down compared to this junior class that's really firing and trying to make an impact here in 2023 for Southside.
Yeah, Ryan Meyerhofer, one of those key seniors to know, 34 points, 26 goals, 8 assists last year. He was fantastic for Southside. Him alongside Owen West, Cole DiPietro going to be key parts of that offense. And then let's take a look at the starters for Syosset as the Braves also return a lot of talent, but overcoming some big losses with Luca Accardo, the All-American from a year ago. Moving on, Luca Cutolo, their star defender. He graduated. So what does this new Braves lineup look like this season?
Well, at the face-off stripe, Owen Azevedo clearly has some big shoes to fill as it relates to taking over for Accardo. But ultimately, Syosset's going to be a lot more scrappy on the draws. They're going to have to keep balls 50-50. Adam Giovinco should be the leader at the front at attack. Brody Waxer returns from a great 8th grade season last year to be a true freshman this year. Josh Chung, a little bit less experienced, but should be the beneficiary of a lot of scoring at attack. And ultimately, A.J. Zuleta, the senior defensive leader who will be going to Williams College next year, himself and Finkelstein will really be the key leaders on the Braves defense.
So a couple of returning all-county talents for Syosset as the Cyclones and Braves both look to start their season on a high. We'll bring you in for the opening face-off when we return on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Ravi Viswani. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Northwell Health, Syosset Hospital. I specialize in sports medicine and the treatment of knee, shoulder, hip, and elbow injuries. So I'd like to talk to you guys today about ACL tears. ACL tears are a very common injury in athletes. The ACL is one of the 4 main ligaments of the knee, and when the ACL tears, it compromises the stability of the knee. Typically, when young athletes have an ACL tear, we do typically recommend surgery because unfortunately the ACL does not heal without surgery. And by restoring the ACL function, we can then allow the athlete to go back to their desired sport. If you have an ACL tear, you should see an orthopedic surgeon. I see patients in Woodbury, Belmore, and Great Neck, and I'd be happy to see any athlete who's in.
Thank you for joining us back at Syosset High School. We wanted to remind you, if you aren't already, why not subscribe to us on YouTube? Never miss another game. Be sure to hit that notifications bell. And you can follow us on all forms of social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, where we will have tons of content surrounding Long Island High School lacrosse. And we wanted to show you our keys to the game in this one. But first, our preseason rankings. As you take a look, of course, St. Anthony, Chaminade, the private school powers at the top. Manhasset, Garden City, defending New York State champions. Cold Spring Harbor also defending New York State champion at 9th. And then in this game, Southside's at 14th. Dave, we heard pregame some people, important people in the Syosset program, not too happy that they weren't ranked here. But that's just the limit of our graphics. Syosset is a top 20 team, but anything stand out to you on these rankings?
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to take these preseason rankings into consideration with not many games being played yet. I could certainly empathize with the Syosset fans who feel as though they've been slighted here. But, again, it's not about where the preseason rankings are. It's really about the rankings at the end of the season.
Look, you win one game. You're right there. Now let's get into our keys to the game. What does Southside have to do to win this one?
Yeah, I think that dominating the face-offs is something that they need to get on often and early. Syosset graduated probably one of the best face-off men in Class A last year and ultimately are rebuilding specifically in that area. So the more efficient they could be on winning face-offs cleanly, that's going to help them beat Syosset 2 years in a row. They're very strong at facilitating from the midfield. I imagine that Cole DiPietro will be a real facilitator there, and they're going to look for the holes that Syosset gives them on defense because that is the strength of this Braves team. as it relates to Syosset, they're going to have to win the ground ball war. Again, they have a disadvantage at the face-off X, so every loose ball will be critical for them, and every opportunity to execute in special teams on the clear, that's going to be very, very important and really hard to do in an early season game like this when people are shaking off rust and younger players are also battling with jitters. But again, we should have a great game here today, and hopefully an opportunity for Syosset to redeem their loss to Southside last year.
Two programs that reached and lost in their respective county championship games a year ago. Syosset in Class A, Southside a year ago in Class C. Two longtime head coaches, good friends, won a national championship together at Adelphi University. Should be a good one. We'll have you back for opening face-off in just a sec on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers...
Back at Syosset High School, about to get underway. Opening game for both Syosset and Southside as we take a look inside that Syosset huddle under the guidance of longtime head coach John Calabria. Dave Franklin, I mean, you got to compete against him on this field in his 23rd season now running this Braves program.
Well, it wasn't 23 years ago where I was playing high school lacrosse, and that just goes to how much tenure Coach Calabria has, because he was a staple when I was playing against him in 2004, and here we are 20 years later, and he's still leading one of the best programs on Long Island. Very, very passionate, fierce, intimidating guy, but also really has a lot of love and respect for his players as well as the game and the traditions that exist here on Long Island Lacrosse.
And look, when he came into this program, they were considered a walkover team year in and year out. I mean, he described it as bringing blue-collar toughness to a white-collar neighborhood, and it's resulted in 3 Long Island championships in 2008, 2015, 2016. Nearly had a Nassau County crown in what he dubbed a rebuilding year a year ago. That is just how good the Syosset program is now. And the Southside Cyclones, man, they are perennial contenders. 7 consecutive years that they've made at least the semifinals, whether it was in Class B or Class C. Last season, finally breaking through. They lost in 6 consecutive semifinal games last year, reached the championship, couldn't get back past the eventual state champion Manhasset Indians, but this is a Cyclones program that is definitively on the rise.
Coach DiPietro has been doing a great job leading this program since Coach Baccarella left Southside to take the job at Jericho. Again, he's done a great job. He's raised his son and some of his son's best friends through this program to ultimately have a pinnacle year here in 2023.
It was interesting getting to talk to him, and we noted that a little bit earlier in our open. They have 27 juniors. That is the most in school history, and so many of them are contributors. And we said, why was that? And it was exactly to your point, Dave. He said, look, when my son, Cole DiPietro, was about 5 years old, Michael Aiello was about 5 years old, Mike Mascarella was really young as well. They just invested in this group, and that is paying dividends now 13 years or so later. And this might be the group that eventually breaks through and wins that county championship. Would be their first one since they won states in 2004.
When you're trying to create a championship culture, it usually is a definitive year, a definitive class that really does bring it all together. And thankfully for Southside, this group will be together for 2 years. And again, we're not going to say Mike Mascarella's name very much over the course of this game. He's Southside's second goalie, but he'll be able to really contribute next year and is still a big factor of that junior glue that exists within this Cyclones program this year.
So here we go, opening face-off. It's Michael Melkonian, the Cornell commit, returning all-county performer for Southside. Owen Azevedo in his first year trying to replace Luca Cardo, able to bat the ball out, but it's recovered by the Cyclones.
Again, Acevedo is going to try to keep things 50-50. Great job there by Owen West to ultimately mitigate the downtime and get this first possession for Southside.
And we've noted a couple times that those are some big shoes to fill for Azevedo, replacing the All-American Luca Cardo down the stretch last season. Had multiple games in a row where he won every single face-off for Syosset. That is tough, and he might be having his toughest challenge of the entire season in Michael Melkonian. So welcome to Nassau County Lacrosse. That is just how it goes around here.
Melkonian will go to Cornell next year, where he'll follow Jack Hiskadden, who was arguably the best face-off man on Long Island last year for Garden City. Cornell has a great tradition of recruiting Long Island face-off men, but a really costly turnover here for Southside.
That pass skims a little bit too long, and Southside able to recover, but now it'll be Syosset ball on the whistle.
Over and back violation. Again, it's mistakes like that will help Syosset win this game. Southside should have an advantage in the possession battle and the face-off battle, but if they throw the ball away when trying to set up their offense, Syosset will take advantage of it.
David Diskay passing it over to Dylan Stadler, who we talked a lot about pregame. I don't know, Dave, in your career, if you ever had to come off a long layoff like Stadler did with that injury, but what's the acclimation process returning to full-time action like this?
It's funny. I look at Desquie, I look at Stadler. Much like Desquie, I was a high school hockey player and sometimes had to start my lacrosse season late. My junior year, I came off of an injury with a broken arm, and it's not easy to do. You really have to get some mental toughness back.
Stadler drops a defender, puts one in the back of the net, but a whistle before the shot.
Moving pick on the play, interference, good recognition by the referees to blow that down. Definitely heard the whistle as Stadler was releasing the shot, no goal.
Tommy Gentile trying to get the ball out, finds Ryan Castle. Castle, the Adelphi commit, and now he turns the ball over.
Great ride by Brody Waxer, going body to body, forcing Castle out of bounds and getting the ball back for Syosset. Again, this is where Syosset's going to win these games, forcing turnovers, being strong on the ride. They're not going to get a lot of possessions off of face-off, so everything in between has to come up white.
And talking to John Calabria this week, he noted Waxer, who was a middle school phenom a year ago, 24 points as a middle schooler. That ball just thrown over the head of Josh Chung. So it'll go right back to Southside, and this is something both coaches noted. There was expected to be some sloppiness, especially in the early going of this one, and we're seeing it on both ends.
First game of the season, wiping off rust, wiping off jitters. It's cold, it's wet, and we're not going to see the cleanest lacrosse game today. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Couple of throwaways. That time it was Will Cawley committing the sin, the sophomore defender who has very high expectations in this Syosset program, but we've seen, by my count, 6 turnovers. And we are less than 3 minutes into this ball game.
If you had these teams play each other later on in May, it would be a much different game to start. But ultimately, this game should evolve. I think we'll see some good scoring and some good settled sets once the jitters and the rust are fully wiped off here by both teams.
DiPietro on a one-man charge. Now he's belatedly cut off by Zuleta. Zuleta trying to strip the ball. DiPietro lost it. Scramble for the ground ball. One of the key factors in this ball game for both sides, particularly close to the cage, and it will be Southside ball. Or Syosset ball, excuse me.
Good job by Evan Ostranger there to double team as Zuleta had DiPietro hung up near the crease. Syosset looking for a clean clear here and hopefully their first strong possession of the game.
Finkelstein trying to matriculate the ball himself. Now Will Cawley sprinting by a last-second check from Aiello.
Full press here from Syosset, making it hard for Cawley to advance the ball, but finally he's able to get it over to Acevedo.
And Acevedo, like Accardo a year ago, will also play midfield, but yet another turnover.
Failure to advance, got to get the ball in the box. Ultimately, Cawley took too long there, and Acevedo wasn't close enough to the offensive area to step it in, so red ball again.
We were warned there would be some sloppiness. This is probably a little bit more than either of us expected, Dave.
A lot of turnovers, a lot of high passes. Again, even outside of just crisp passing, guys are a little bit lost on the rules. Their timing is off getting into the box. It's a big adjustment early in the season.
Owen West turning the corner. West unimpeded, fires and puts it in for the opening goal of the season for Southside.
Owen West with an and one there. Also drew a slash going to the goal. Did a good job of finding space and getting the first tally on the board for the Cyclones.
And let's take another look at it. I mean, what does Owen do so well here?
Yeah, I mean, he burns Desquie and Ostranger straight to the goal. The slide came a little bit late, and he just stung it high to high over Finkelstein.
Yeah, the Bryant commit, Steve DiPietro, described him as a problem for opposing defenses. Combined size, athleticism, excellent stick work, can shoot from range. Very crafty as well. He said, look, we don't have another Brady, but his younger brother is the closest thing to it on this roster.
And if you're Coach DiPietro, that's exactly how you want Owen to start the season. Be his own man, score the first goal, take the team on his back. That sets a really good culture up for the rest of the year.
Wow, and Azevedo initially got the win. Southside still battling, and now Melkonian able to scoop up the ball. So great second effort by Michael Melkonian, but I'm impressed by Owen Azevedo in that faceoff circle early in this ballgame.
He'll do whatever he needs to do to keep it dirty. Again, the main thing that Coach Calabria wants, he doesn't want Melkonian to win things cleanly. If he does that, his confidence will get up. It will create fast breaks. Owen Acevedo is an athletic enough guy to really take some air out of the seams of that special teams faceoff unit for the Cyclones.
Possession and emphasis for both teams, though. You got to imagine the Cyclones feeling like they have an advantage in that circle. They're going to be content to operate a little bit faster than you might see Syosset go. Move put on that time by Russell DeFrancisca off the bench.
Southside really using the top of the zone here. A lot of moving picks.
And shot slung in and saved that time by Feinstein, stopping the attempt from Cullen Lynch. The Chaminade transfer, now a rebound. Feinstein all over it.
Good to see Feinstein respond from giving up that first goal with 2 big saves there. Cullen Lynch, the only sophomore for the Cyclones team, did a good job dodging down the alley there.
Yeah, pass up ahead to Munoz. Excuse me, it was Zach Finkelstein on that save. And Southside beats the ride relatively easily. Now Griffin Mills, another new starter for the Cyclones this year. Owen West bumped from attack to midfield, so Griffin Mills stepped into that spot in attack. Couple of dodges put on by Ryan Meyerhofer, and he finds the back of the net. A quick 2 for the Cyclones.
Very persistent dodging there by Meyerhofer. He was patient. He wore down his defender. He caught the rest of the defense sleeping, and he found a great path from X to get in front of the goal and finish there.
And Meyerhofer not necessarily as flashy as someone like Cole DiPietro or even what you see from Owen West, but just a workman-like effort that time and a brilliant finish.
Had Logan Friedman a little bit tied up there going around the goal. And again, did a good job of finishing low as he turned the corner on Finkelstein.
This time a too-quick start from Azevedo, so Melkonian will take the face-off win.
If you're Southside here, you really want another good possession. You're up by 2. It's early. It's often. Both teams are making mistakes. This is really a good time to keep the ball out of Syosset's stick and continue to chip up at this lead.
West setting the screen that time. No room to go for Melkonian. So now it'll be Aiello. What are you seeing from Southside offensively so far that's working?
They're attacking from the midfield, just like they said. They're moving it horizontally. They're picking the ball, and they're finding opportunities to dodge down the alley when the middle isn't open.
DiPietro cut off that time. Fits a pass inside, but knocked away. Good defending from Will Cawley.
Poor stick protection there by Aiello. Should have had that in the other hand. As you said, Will Cawley was very diligent to clamp down on that one.
Azevedo doing a nice job protecting the ball himself.
And now Syosset really needs a good possession. I would take Azevedo off the field. He's probably pretty tired right now, but it looks like Deskew has the green light and bangs it off the post.
Yeah, Deskew missing that time, the former hockey star.
He still plays. He still plays.
Current.
Just coming off of his hockey season.
Yeah, current hockey star, I should say. And another penalty goes against Syosset.
Ooh. Again, not what you want. You wanted a good possession there. You wanted to slow down Southside. An illegal substitution, that's a really bad mistake to make in the first quarter, and you're down by 2 in a sloppy season opener like this.
And a nice job on the ride that time by DiPietro. Ball worked around, open in front of the cage. A pump and a miss on an open net that time. It was a golden opportunity for Ryan Meyerhofer.
Meyerhofer just zinged that one wide. Really good job of Finkelstein to approach that and take a little bit of net away from Meyerhofer's vision. But, man, that could have been a big goal to put Southside up by 3. They were really finding some good rotation there on the attack. We still have a 2-goal game.
Yes, we get one more look at it, and Meyerhofer felt like he got Finkelstein to commit, but then just couldn't find the open space that he had created. So it'll be Aiello on the restart with Southside in possession, up 2-0 in this season opener with 4:33 to go in the opening quarter.
See the midfield, very patient here. Just moving in amongst the 3 of them, not setting up any screens at the moment. But here goes DiPietro. He's their spark plug.
Explosive change of direction ability and brings a little bit of juice that they don't necessarily have at other spots. And you see the speed on the shot. The rebound somehow saved by Finkelstein. That was a quick stick to deny the point-blank look from Aiello.
Really good save by Finkelstein to see that true on the outside. Aiello tried to get a little bit fancy and tried to put it in with the Canadian shuffle, zoomed it over the net. If he just took an extra second there and showed some more composure, Southside would be up by 3 with less than 4 minutes to go.
Said still just a 2-point lead for the Cyclones, or 2-goal lead, I should say, for the Cyclones. DiPietro covered well that time.
DiPietro and Joe Gagliano are going to be battling all day today.
Slinging one in, easy save for Finkelstein, denying West.
West went high to high the first time, and Finkelstein had the scouting report the second time. Read that well. Really impressive by Rest. He did change levels on that shot to go sidearm to high, but Finkelstein saw that all the way.
We've yet to see any kind of extended run of possession for Syosset. Haven't even officially gotten their first shot on goal with that last one wiped off due to the penalty.
Yeah, Tommy Gentile is probably yawning back there.
BU commit has yawned at his share of shots in his career, his third year as a starter. Here comes Brody Waxer. He is a star in the making for Syosset. We got a little distracted earlier, but we're going to note he is someone who's bulked up a lot and had the talent last year, now has the physicality to really compete in Nassau County Class A.
Syosset and Coach Calabria have done a great job of identifying 8th graders who could play at the varsity level. This started with Jeff Cohen, then Ryan Hunter. Waxer had a great year last year as an 8th grader, and again, should shine here in 2023 as a true freshman.
Giovinco shut down after using the screen, covered up by Logan Kelly, the Scranton commit. Doing a great job with that long stick. Now, quick move put on by Waxer. But again, Southside winning these one-on-one matchups early against the Braves.
Southside defense definitely not showing Syosset much, but this is finally the possession that Syosset needed as Chung is able to repossess there.
Chung, a guy who didn't play at all, at least on varsity for Syosset last year, kind of came out of nowhere, but really expected to be a key piece of this attack as Waxer maneuvers, resets to Chung. Chung working from X.
Chung definitely has good stick skills and good vision. Again, playing your first varsity game as a sophomore in an environment like this can get a little nerve-wracking, but we expect good things from 2022, from 22 in white.
Giovinco shut down, had his shot blocked, smothering him up as Logan Kelly.
Good job by Logan Kelly there. Ultimately, Syosset will get the ball back on a loose ball push. But this is what Class A lacrosse is all about. Good offensive teams moving the ball around, good defensive teams taking opportunities away. We're finally getting into a good rhythm here in Syosset.
And I would say this start defensively, a particularly good sign for the Cyclones, considering that they will most likely be, for the majority of this game, we might see a little bit of him without Patrick Mullen, the Providence commit, who projects as arguably their top one-on-one defender this season.
Coming off the basketball season, not quite conditioned for lacrosse as the squeeze shoots that one low.
Yeah, a brilliant save that time by Tommy Gentile. Finally getting to see the ball as Southside breaks the other way, sprinting up the field for Southside. And a shot put wide that time for the Cyclones. Nick Papadopoulos into the game.
Really textbook breakout there by Syosset. Great save by Gentile. Ultimately advanced the ball up to Nick Papadopoulos, as you said. And it was Meyerhofer who just missed that one wide.
Aiello trying to get middle, slings the shot. And Zach Finkelstein putting in a lot of work. If not, this lead could be a whole lot more than 2-0. Syosset trying to get a late one with 20 seconds to go in the quarter. A.J. Zuleta bringing the ball up.
Finkelstein threw that to Zuleta like Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison, just put it right into the basket.
And I like that the reference was relative to the timing of your high school career, as that's another good knockaway by Gentile.
From 2000 to 2004, there wasn't a much better wide receiver QB
best in the league
duo than Peyton and Marvin in Indianapolis.
You can't argue that. End of the first quarter, Southside 2, Syosset 0, as the Braves look to find an offensive rhythm in this season opener right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
No, that's all good.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Thank you for joining us back on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We wanted to remind you that today's game is brought to us by the generosity of Michael Lucchese. He's a former assistant coach for the boys lacrosse team at Southside and now a financial advisor at Raymond James in Garden City, New York. Please check out his website for more info. You can find his work at www.raymondjames.com/TWLWealthAdvisoryGroup.com. And a 2-0 lead for Southside after a quarter of play. A lot of sloppiness early, Dave, but it feels like the Cyclones found their footing before the Braves did.
Yeah, no question there. For the most part, Southside is winning the possession game right now. They're getting better looks at the goal, and this should be a pretty pivotal face-off. Still very much within reach for Syosset, but Southside is definitely playing with a little bit more confidence on the road so far.
Owen Azevedo certainly not getting dominated in the circle, though. Melkonian has gotten the better of the matchup initially, and Melkonian gets another win here.
Clean win for Melkonian. You might have jinxed him, but Syosset good to attack.
And then Melkonian fitting his way through a sea of white, but unable to beat Zach Finkelstein, who has stood on his head early. I mean, Dave, you had a comment during the end of that quarter that if he goes just to the MCLA level, I mean, he has a chance to be absolutely elite.
We talked about it even before the game. The University of Texas, again, they don't have a varsity lacrosse team, but their club lacrosse team in the MCLA is very well funded, supported by the school. They have their own facility. Their head coach is Kyle Hartzell of the PLL Redwoods and Team USA. So they have some serious lacrosse down there. If he chooses to continue his collegiate academic career in Austin and finds his way onto that club team, he could be one of the best MCLA players in all of league history.
Again, a former D1 commit was going to go to Binghamton, just made the decision that he ultimately didn't want to pursue Division I lacrosse, and it was one John Calabria described as brave.
You know, ultimately, lacrosse is not a revenue-generating sport. There's not a great opportunity to make a lot of money playing pro. When you do have a great opportunity to make money playing pro, D1 is the path to least resistance.
As DiPietro puts that one low, Finkelstein, another stop. That was his 5th or 6th save of this game. Some of them have been exceptional.
It's incredible to think how much further this game could be in separation if Finkelstein wasn't playing well. But, you know, going back to the pro lacrosse discussion, Mac O'Keefe from Syosset, all-time NCAA leading scorer, plays for the PLL Chaos. He's making $35,000 a year in the PLL. So ultimately, when you kind of consider your options after high school, after lacrosse, and really what you want your ultimate goals to be, there's not a lot of money to be made in professional lacrosse. So when that plays into your college decision, for a lot of good players on Long Island recently, we've seen kids forego their opportunity to keep their sticks in their hands and their helmets on their heads.
And I guess a lot of the value is in it paying for college potentially. That was a scorcher from Dave Disqui, and Tommy Gentile gets to show why he's also a fantastic goaltender.
First time for Tommy Gentile to see some good rubber there. Saw that one high to high. And a nice clear across the 50.
Yeah, that was something that Steve DiPietro commented on his outlet game. Also excellent, something that he continues to sharpen up and work on. Cutting in West, quick dodge, quick move, one-on-one, beats Finkelstein, and it's 3-0 Southside.
Great recognition there by Ryan Meyerhofer to see West hanging out naked by the wing. 3-goal advantage for Southside as we run this one back. You see Meyerhofer completely composed, fires a nice pass there. The slide came really late for Syosset. Evan Ostranger probably should have been there a little bit faster, but again, West playing with a lot of confidence, being his own man, breaking out of his brother's shell, and leading this Cyclones team his own way.
And this wasn't one of the keys we noted pregame, but you got to imagine it was an emphasis for John Calabria to get off to a fast start, knowing how Michael Melkonian can dominate in the circle. Now this has to be a really tough position for the Braves, right? Because you don't have Luca Carter to say, all right, go win us 4 or 5 faceoffs in a row to get back into a game.
Yeah, it's getting to a quicksand situation. And ultimately, Syosset's going to win a faceoff here with holding first outside. So that's really what you want when you just give up, when you just go down 3 goals. That was a pretty pivotal faceoff. If Southside was able to convert 4 in a row, it could have been hazardous for the Braves.
Disqui, quick pass, wide open, a pump and a goal, the first of the season for Syosset, and it comes from Zach McPhee, the senior, off the bench.
Syosset really needed that. Zach McPhee was well positioned. Left of the goal, Disqui, really the initiator here, picking the ball up off of the faceoff. Great vision. And then McPhee Great composure by McPhee. Again, Tommy Gentile is a really good goalie. He does a great job of almost fooling shooters into seeing open areas where they really don't exist, but McPhee did a good job in order to fake midside and then finish high side to get Syosset on the board and make this a 2-goal game.
And we've seen Syosset's top options mostly get smothered in this, at least so far in this game. Giovinco hasn't done much. Waxer hasn't done much. Josh Chung hasn't really been heard from quite yet. And then it's McPhee, the senior, coming in off the bench and making an absolutely essential play for the Braves.
McPhee wasn't even a player that Coach Calabria talked to us a lot about in our pregame conversation. Obviously, things haven't been working here for the Braves, so you take a senior off the bench who wants to initiate, and Azevedo with a great direct face-off win.
2 in a row, and Melkonian has to be careful, nearly committing the penalty, trying to win this ball back as Azevedo moves it along. As Melkonian continues to defend, and there is a flag down.
Looks like Melkonian's going to get called for a slash. Huge possession for Syosset here. You have a free possession. You're going to have a man up after this. You just got your first goal of the game. Huge possession for the Braves. Waxer and Chung should really make sure that they move the ball eloquently here because you're definitely going to want to get a good shot on Gentile before having a man-up opportunity.
Waxer operating from X. Start and stop. He's trying to find a cutter. No one breaking open quite yet for Syosset.
Giovinco all over the offensive zone. Waxer will try to find him anywhere.
Stadler lobs it in. Pass mishandled that time by McPhee. And then running it over is Waxer, as now the penalty will start.
Good job by Logan Kelly to get his stick in there to deflect that pass, stopping Syosset from getting a good shot with that free possession, but Melkonian will go in with a slash, and Syosset will have a man-up opportunity.
So a 30-second penalty, and it's Dylan Stadler who will start it off as the officials slowing him down, waiting to make sure that clock is ready to go.
Look out for Stadler, West, Desquie, and Giovinco to do something between the 4 of them there. We have Acevedo and Chung on the field as well, but 4, 34, 9, and 19 should likely connect here to hopefully get a man-up goal for Syosset.
Desquie had that excellent assist on the opening goal by McPhee. Syosset always good in these extra man opportunities under John Calabria.
A lot of movement in this man-up offense. Ooh,
yeah,
errant pass by Josh Chung. Again, that's where the youth is going to hurt them. Waxer, again, he's been at this stage before. He has had a few moments early in this game where he let a few get ahead of him. But, yeah, that was an errant pass by Chung and not what you want on a man-up opportunity like that.
And an ambitious outlet sneaks through for Southside. Recovering it was Liam Livingston. Livingston, another newcomer for this Cyclones program, a transfer from Chaminade. Obviously, always nice to get someone from one of the best programs in the country.
We have Chaminade on the broadcast this Saturday when Ward Melville comes from Suffolk County to play them. I'm excited to have a call on that with Dylan Butler here on Varsity Media Sports Network.
Aiello covered up, flag flies as the ball skims out of play.
When you look at the starting attack from both teams, Aiello and Chung are just playing a little bit nervous right now. Again, both coaches talked about the jitters. Aiello should have a little bit more confidence at this juncture. Again, we see now Chung coming off of the field. It looks like he will be replaced at attack by Jared Litchin moving forward. So, again, a lot of changes in personnel. Not easy for a sophomore to come into his first varsity game, be in the starting lineup, and then get pulled in the second quarter for making mistakes. But that's just part of the maturity process, Gavin.
And it's a Syosset team that you would almost think that they'd be more experienced because they were really young a year ago. As there's a jump shot, and Finkelstein able to deflect it. Bully ball for Southside trying to get it in. Finkelstein calling for a penalty the other way, and it will be Syosset ball as it was Liam Livingston just trying to burrow his way towards the cage, but Finkelstein standing tall.
Yep, he pushed Logan Freeman into the crease there. Syosset will get the clear. Again, Finkelstein might have decommitted from playing D1 lacrosse, but he is fully committed for this Syosset team in his senior year, regardless of what comes after this.
Will Cawley up to Disqui. I was going to note earlier, again, a rebuilding year for Syosset, but they're still not that experienced because they lost just so much talent off that 2021 team that won the counties, including A.J. Alexander, who I believe went to Providence, Jason Singer, ended up at Cornell, Joey Greco, star goaltender. That team was absolutely stacked, and even 2 years later, the Braves left with a good amount of experience, but still a fairly young group.
Yeah, a lot of star power in 2021. They lost Luca Catolo last year to Quinnipiac. Luca Accardo is now playing at High Point. Tyler Birch was a midfielder that went to play at Manhattanville. Ryan Voigt and Gage Succato were also good players, as well as Spencer Newman, a really good short stick defensive midfield for last year's Syosset team.
And Darren Acosta, another guy who had over 20 points, not a senior, but not on the team currently. Stadler tracked this time by Jack Lazito. Stadler, quick move. Those are two guys who could be all conference, maybe all county this year. He's backed up well, but excellent defending by Lazito, who is kind of the pacemaker, the energizer for the Southside defense.
Well, it was good to see Stadler create his own shot there, shifting his hips around. He does look healthy. Again, this is going to be a journey for him to rattle off that injury and have a good senior season, but hopefully we'll see him loosen up as this game progresses here.
Giovinco trying to put some pressure on the net, and that's a shot caught high, fired high by Stadler.
Litchin had the shot on that one. Litchin again coming in off the bench for Chung. Great recognition by Giovinco to see him open in front of the field, but again, that's Litchin's first touch of the ball in this game, coming off the bench. Didn't seem to have great mechanics on that one as he fired that over the net of Tommy Gentile.
Good look by Giovinco, who projects to be Syosset's best creator this year. Pass in front of the cage, point blank look, and this time it's put in for Syosset. Adam Giovinco, the first goal of his senior season.
Well, again, we wanted to see Dylan Stadler get involved. He did a great job of initiating from X there. And then he finds Giovinco, who should finish this season as the leading scorer for Syosset. As we see, he starts his dodge, does a good job changing hands. Giovinco did an unbelievable job of mirroring Stadler and going to the opposite side of the crease, open for the quick finish. And we have a 3-2 ball game.
Giovinco, returning all-county performer, led Syosset in points with 48 last year, 27 goals last season as well.
Jack Lozito, really talented short stick D-Midi, the energizer buddy, the comic relief, ultimately did not do a good job of D'ing up on Stadler there. And you see the Southside coaching staff and John DiTomaso trying to make some corrections. John DiTomaso, a new addition to Southside's coaching staff as an assistant. Great player at Johns Hopkins, was the first head coach of the Long Island and New York Lizards in Major League Lacrosse. And now he's back coaching at the high school level for Southside.
As after Melkonian got the face-off win here, Southside slowing things down just a little bit. As Owen West surveys the field.
Syosset's on a 2-0 run. At one point, the Cyclones had a 3-goal lead. They really want to retake control of this game to close out the second half.
Owen West trying to replicate the chemistry with Cole DiPietro that his older brother Brady had. That was such a dynamic duo where DiPietro got 9 assists last year, the majority of them coming to Brady West, setting him up.
Looks like Syosset has moved Evan Ostranger to guard DiPietro, which will certainly limit his opportunities moving off the crease there.
And that's a great scoop in space for Syosset. And it's Joseph Gagliano making another big play. Now the distribution and the shot, the second one of the game off the bench for Litchin goes wide.
Yeah, showing Litchin's youth again. He really should have actually made that extra pass to Zachary McPhee and could have potentially given him the second goal of the game. Really great fast break, as you said, that was sparked by Gagliano. But ultimately, I think that Litchin would have been wise to just make one more extra pass before firing another shot high.
Yeah, it was good distribution again from David Disqui, who we were told before the game has the hardest shot on this Syosset team, but a very unselfish passer as well. Maybe just bringing some of those hockey instincts. Stadler circles, reset up top to Giovinco. Pass too high for him.
That's Waxer's second errant pass of the game. Again, he's only a ninth grader, but he's played at this level before. He understands the magnitude of this contest. Again, we expect to see that from Chung or Litchin, but Waxer should really be doing a better job there.
And a timeout taken by Southside. as it looks like Steve DiPietro wants to talk things over. So with 2:57 to go in the second quarter, we will step aside as well. The lead, just 1 for the Cyclones.
Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
2-0 run for Syosset back into this ball game. And if you want to bring your game to life, there's only one way to do it with Varsity Media Sportscast. Our Sportscast feature announcers, multiple cameras, instant replay graphics. It's great for rivalry games, senior days, and general promotion of your team. If you want to book a Sportscast, all you have to do is contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit varsitymedia.net. So it was a 3-0 lead for Southside, 2 consecutive goals for Syosset. Southside with the ball after the Steve DiPietro timeout. What do you think he was emphasizing to his team there, Dave?
I think he wants a really long possession here. Again, they started this game with a 3-goal lead, had a nice run there. Syosset has managed to chip back and make it a 1-goal game again. So we're under 3 minutes in the first half, a long possession, getting 2-goal separation. I think is really important. They don't want to make any mistakes, and they certainly don't want to give Syosset any opportunities to repossess and ultimately tie this game up before we close out the second quarter.
And it might just go along with the general sloppiness that we've seen. We haven't really seen either side have a truly extended possession. The longest one in the game, maybe 2 minutes so far, as DiPietro puts on the quick move. Finkelstein, though, all over that shot, not enough on it.
Finkelstein is playing like he has ice in his veins. Southside is doing a good job with their shot selection. They're shooting high. They're shooting off the bounce. They're going low to low. But for the most part, Finkelstein is seeing everything.
And it's been essential with the Syosset offense asleep for most of the half, though. This is an excellent clearance from David Disqui.
Southside doing a good job on the team ride. Syosset and Coach Calabria have recognized that they really need to try to get the ball into their most confident stick to run north-south off of the clear and try to get a fast possession.
Dylan Stadler, he's mostly been quiet. And the
Moving
infraction, moving screen that time, will return possession to Southside. Gentile has not had a lot to do, but has shined in the clearance game so far.
Definitely finding openings.
Aiello, the quick connection and the payoff for Southside. Liam Livingston on the finish.
Really loved what I saw from Southside's attack there. Aiello also has been playing with a little bit of rust up until that point, so that assist should get him going. And you really just have to love everything else that the Southside attack did. Liam Livingston was right on the doorstep where he needed to be to finish that goal. And then they had backup behind with Ryan Meyerhofer as well if he were to ultimately have missed that shot. So really good spacing by the Cyclones. And great on them to get up 2 goals again with 90 seconds left in the half.
Livingston, a guy who was expected to get a lot of run coming in as Azevedo takes the face-off with starting attackman Griffin Mills dealing with a setback from a knee injury in the offseason. And Livingston, this transfer from Chaminade, I mean, Dave, I got to imagine that's incredibly difficult coming into a new program, middle of your high school career, integrating yourself. Livingston looking excellent so far for Southside.
Yeah, it's, again, not an easy transition to make. You need to get integrated with the team socially, operationally, trying to find, how your skill set fits into everything. But Chaminade's a great program. Again, one of the best in the country, one of the best on Long Island. So to come into Class A, shouldn't be that steep of a cliff for him.
Disqui, quick dodge, and a sidearm shot put wide, and Southside winning the race to the ball, much to the ire of the Braves faithful.
Closest to the ball gets the ball, not closest to the line. The rule has changed recently. Great recognition there by Logan Kelly to chase the ball on the line that it was on. The Syosset attackman who was closest to the goal line, who was running away from the ball, thought that it was going to get possession back, but that's not how the rules work anymore.
And Southside operating very quickly, that time a little bit too fast as that pass was missed by Ryan Meyerhofer. They actually got lucky initially. Gentile was looking shorter up the field than the ball actually went. It dribbled right over to Papadopoulos, but just nothing doing for Southside on that final connection. So Giovinco, or rather Zuleta, will try his hand at the clear, and the Cyclones, or rather the Braves, will call for time with 13 seconds left in the half. John Calabria going to look to draw up one final play to hopefully set up a goal for Syosset.
12 seconds left. Have to be efficient here. The ball certainly went back and forth a lot in those last 3 minutes. Again, we were talking about Southside getting a long possession. We'll see what Coach Calabria is able to draw.
And remember, here at Varsity Media, we also offer college recruiting videos. They include custom editing effects to help your players stand out, your choice of music, and a link for college coaches to find your son or daughter excelling at what they do best. So why sign up? You save money in college tuition, help land a spot on the team of your dreams, and stand out from the competition. If you mention this ad when you contact us, we'll give you 10% off. So contact us at 516-403-2050 or email Jeff at varsitymedia.net, and I can vouch that he is one of the nicest people you will ever talk to. And we want you to subscribe on the Varsity Media Sports Network. If you're on YouTube, all you have to do is exit your full screen, hit that big red subscribe button, and follow us on all forms of social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It has been a struggle, Dave, for the Syosset offense, to say the least. 2 goals so far in this game. And sometimes you see 2 goals on the board and you say, all right, it's just an incredible defensive effort. It's an outstanding goaltender, and it certainly isn't Tommy Gentile. But this feels like a Braves offense that hasn't quite found their rhythm, hasn't quite found their cohesion, and even beyond the turnovers, hasn't been able to get a lot of separation. What are you looking for them to shift, both in this possession and as we head into the second half?
I think they just need to be cleaner moving the ball around. I think that Giovinco and Desqui and Waxer know what they need to do along with Stadler in order to find holes in this defense. But again, it's some of the newer players that are kind of slowing up the ball and making it hard to find a groove. We've seen some interchangeability with Jared Litchin as well as Chung, but ultimately, as a whole cohesive offensive unit, Syosset has to get it together.
Stadler, couple dodges, tries to throw it low. Ball skims out of play. Clock stops at 2.7 seconds. It'll have to be a quick restart for Desqui. So he's just going to have to lob this in front of the cage. Desqui does that.
That's
too far over the head of Dylan Stadler, and that'll do it for the first half. That possession, a microcosm of the opening 24 for Syosset, a stagnant offense. They put up just 2 goals. Southside could have had more if not for the brilliance of Zach Finkelstein. They lead by 2 after 2 quarters of play in the opening game of the season for both teams, as we'll be back after half right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hi everyone, my name is Ravi Viswani. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Northwell Health, Syosset Hospital. I specialize in sports medicine and the treatment of knee, shoulder, hip, and elbow injuries. So I'd like to talk to you guys today about ACL tears. ACL tears are a very common injury in athletes. The ACL is one of the 4 main ligaments of the knee, and when the ACL tears, it compromises the stability of the knee. Typically, when young athletes have an ACL tear, we do typically recommend surgery because unfortunately the ACL does not heal without surgery. And by restoring the ACL function, we can then allow the athlete to go back to their desired sport. If you have an ACL tear, you should see an orthopedic surgeon. I see patients in Woodbury, Belmore, and Great Neck, and I'd be happy to see any athlete who's in.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hi everyone, my name is Ravi Viswani. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Northwell Health, Syosset Hospital. I specialize in sports medicine and the treatment of knee, shoulder, hip, and elbow injuries. So I'd like to talk to you guys today about ACL tears. ACL tears are a very common injury in athletes. The ACL is one of the four main ligaments of the knee, and when the ACL tears, it compromises the stability of the knee. Typically, when young athletes have an ACL tear, we do typically recommend surgery because unfortunately the ACL does not heal without surgery. And by restoring the ACL function, we can then allow the athlete to go back to their desired sport. If you have an ACL tear, you should see an orthopedic surgeon. I see patients in Woodbury, Belmore, and Great Neck, and I'd be happy to see any athlete who's in.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hi everyone, my name is Ravi Viswani. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Northwell Health, Syosset Hospital. I specialize in sports medicine and the treatment of knee, shoulder, hip, and elbow injuries. So I'd like to talk to you guys today about ACL tears. ACL tears are a very common injury in athletes. The ACL is one of the four main ligaments of the knee, and when the ACL tears, it compromises the stability of the knee. Typically, when young athletes have an ACL tear, we do typically recommend surgery because unfortunately the ACL does not heal without surgery. And by restoring the ACL function, we can then allow the athlete to go back to their desired sport. If you have an ACL tear, you should see an orthopedic surgeon. I see patients in Woodbury, Belmore, and Great Neck, and I'd be happy to see any athlete who's in.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include
Second half about to get started here at Syosset High School. A 4-2 lead for Southside at halftime. Gavin Shaw alongside Dave Franklin. Dave, what stands out looking at the stat sheet?
Oh, man, the turnovers. It's been turnover city. I've seen more turnovers here than you see at your local thrift shop. But we expected to see that in an early season game like this. Again, the weather isn't ideal. Rust, jitters to shake off, new guys in new positions trying to find their identity. So, again, we've seen a sloppy game, so to speak. But, man, Finkelstein has been fantastic in net, making 10 key saves for the Braves. If not for him, we might be in a bit of a blowout here.
Yeah, we said it a couple of times. I mean, both sides, I think it was 6 turnovers in the first 2.5 minutes. But from that point forward, Southside got their act together offensively. Syosset never really did. Zach Finkelstein, the one variable, keeping this ball game close. And a look at our upcoming sportscast schedule here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We got Huntington at Cold Spring Harbor for you. That game will be played tomorrow. And then Mount Sinai against Garden City. A rematch of that game that was on ESPN a year ago. No Joey Spallina for Mount Sinai, but still no Jack Cascadin for Garden City. Excellent rosters both sides. Ward Melville takes on Chaminade. You're going to be on that game, Dave.
I'm doing Mount Sinai, Garden City, and Ward Melville, Chaminade, too. Unbelievable games. We still got 2 Spallina brothers in town from Mount Sinai, and Ward Melville, Chaminade. Unbelievable public school, private school, Nassau County, Suffolk County matchup.
Yeah, that one should be a blast. Southside, this same team taking on Port Washington, the defending champions in Class A, who beat Syosset in that game 9-8 a year ago. Manhasset upset in the semifinals by Syosset. They get a chance. Talk about public versus private. They get a shot at Chaminade, and then Garden City against Syosset to wrap up the month of March. As we take a look at this Cyclones team, I mean, we talked about all the talent in the midfield and on attack. Look, Zach Finkelstein smothered some of it, but you got to see why so many people are so high on these Cyclones heading into the season.
Again, junior-led team, a lot of good chemistry. Should be interesting to see how this second half shakes out. We haven't seen Griffin Mills contribute very much, and again, it's been really great to see Owen Acevedo keep Mike Melconian in check. This should be a big draw here as we start the second half.
Got 2 face-off wins in a row. I kind of think John Calabria maybe, I don't want to say sold us short on Owen Acevedo, but maybe didn't describe just how good he is, because he has done an excellent job battling Melconian. Syosset wins the face-off to open the second half right on cue, and a backside check, and now the flag will come in as Melconian. This is the second time he's picked up a penalty trying to win the ball back after losing a face-off.
Yeah, on that one, he actually did win the clamp and rake. Joe Gagliano did a great job of ultimately beating Melconian to the ball. There's been a few situations here where Melconian won the clamp, won the draw, but didn't actually win the completion of the face-off, and he tries so hard and puts that extra effort so intensely to try to get the ball back that he ends up getting himself in trouble. You see John DiTomaso, the new assistant coach for Southside, bringing in his, trying to reel in and compose his star face-off man as we're here in the second half. Again, huge addition to the coaching staff, DiTomaso, a professional coach, a great player at Johns Hopkins, great wealth of knowledge to join Coach DiPietro's staff.
Syosset already flashing a little bit more pace offensively to open the second half. It's an offense that thrives with players moving off the ball with purpose. Waxer, extra pass. Thought he might have had a look there.
Finally, some crisp passing. Chung is moving the ball well. Waxer's moving the ball well. Oh, great job for Southside as they brought that back to even.
Yeah, Ryan McNichols came on a heater, and Syosset, I mean, we're complimenting the ball movement, but that's a missed opportunity, not getting a shot off.
And here comes McNichols again.
Yeah, and he leads the break the other way. Southside. Shot from up top. Griffin Mills right on cue, but right into the stick of Finkelstein.
That was a good sidearm bound shot by Mills. Finkelstein is just having a really good day.
Syosset has needed every single one of them. His 11th save of the ball game.
Made his 11th save through a great outlet pass, unable to possess. We didn't have a camera on it, but Finkelstein just put his mitt in his head and said, oh, man, not another failed clear for us.
Yeah, Southside trying to beat the ride. DiPietro dodging through a lot of traffic, and now a flag will go against Zuleta and Syosset. As DiPietro able to keep the initial run, so it'll be a delayed penalty. Sets it back. What a pass from DiPietro, but Finkelstein did just enough to alter what would have been a point-blank attempt by Mills.
2 missed scoring opportunities by Mills, not by his own fault. He's doing a good job taking shots, but, man, Finkelstein just stopping the ball, clearing the ball, just doing everything he needs to do to keep Syosset in this game. Any less of an effort, Southside would be walking away from this one early in the second half.
Let's take one more look. I mean, that was a heck of a play by DiPietro all the way out to the pass, and then look at that ball just ricocheted right off the crossbar.
Mills did a good job of bringing that pass in, shooting to the far side as his body was moving toward the near post, and Finkelstein just extends his body and made a great stop. I'm telling you, if I'm Kyle Hartzell in Austin, Texas right now, and I'm aware that this kid has decommitted from Binghamton University, I am selling him hard to come to the Longhorns.
So Southside operating with a man up. The penalty actually went against Joseph Gagliano. Initially I thought it was Zuleta. Extra pass. Fake by Jack Meyerhofer. Shot missed. And recovering it in the pack is John Munoz, but now he's dispossessed. Sloppy ball, both sides. Open opportunity, but now the officials blow it dead.
And a big change of possession for Syosset there. Looks like they got Southside with a hold. That will take some time off of the penalty. And Finkelstein just hoping that Syosset's able to complete this clear, as Desquie has a lot of traffic on the sideline.
Desquie, though, showing that strength from hockey season, battling through 4 defenders and putting that one right on Tommy Gentile, but missing the cage.
Southside's ultimately applying a lot of pressure on the clear here in the second half. Desquie, very athletic, very lengthy. Again, coming off of high school and travel hockey season. Might not have his full lacrosse skills completely tuned up, but his legs are in shape, and we saw it there.
Giovinco working the post up. Quick pass, quick shot, and a goal. Owen Azevedo makes it a 1-goal deficit yet again.
Coming into this game, Owen Acevedo's role was to ultimately keep face-offs at a 50-50 level, scoop up ground balls, play sound defensive midfield, and ultimately keep Syosset in this game. For him to score that goal at such a big moment was fantastic. Giovinco did a good job of sizing up his defenseman, looked in the middle, found the seam, and a great catch and release by Acevedo. Pretty much a quick stick, caught it high and fired it low to really throw off Tommy Gentile on that one.
And it's worth noting, right, you lose Luca Accardo as a great faceoff man. You also lose Luca Accardo, the scorer. He was second in points for them last season. Azevedo doing a good job there, but Melkonian, the one-man effort, ripping one in, 5-3, the quick answer from Southside.
What a response by the Cyclones. Melkonian was slated to have a big game today. He was supposed to win a majority of the faceoffs, spark a lot of possessions. Ultimately, a lot of things weren't going his way. Acevedo just scored for Syosset. You knew that his momentum was high. Melkonian says, no thanks. I'm going to take this faceoff. I'm taking the ball to the heart of the goal. And what a great falling bounce shot to finally get one past Finkelstein.
An outside perspective here, but almost has felt like throughout this game, Melkonian maybe putting too much pressure on himself, right? The hype so high for him this year. The Cornell commit expected to be in the conversation for All-American, and that time maybe channeling that energy in a more productive way.
I agree, and again, I think he mentally took advantage of the fact that Acevedo was on the field. He scored that goal. He was fresh off the bench, so good on him to know that he could really hit the hyperspeed button on that one. And a lot of credit to John DiTommaso, who, again, an experienced coach from the professional level, probably comprehended everything that you just said. I've got a star senior going to a star program, known for having good face-off men. He should be dominating. He's not. We got to slow it down. Michael Melkonian, a junior who will be going to Cornell 2 years from now.
And another stop, this time by Gentile, trying to kick off that break ahead. Logan Kelly will slow it up. One part of the game that's gotten a little sharper for both sides is their work on the clearance. So maybe I'm speaking too soon. Zach Lazito caught in a swarm of white jerseys, and now Desquie teaming up that time to knock that ball away. Syosset will have a golden chance here. Bully ball inside. Waxer left it off, and the shot knocked away.
What a sequence. Let's see what we'll have here. Was it a push in the crease? I think that Waxer got pushed in the crease from my purview. This should go against Ryan Castle.
It looks like it's just going to be,
Nope, Syosset ball. Ryan Castle pushed Waxer in the crease. Great job there by Waxer to find the seam there on the alley. I think that Castle did a good job of cutting it off as he was about to get to GLE. But Syosset did a good job to advance the shot, push it forward, got pushed in the crease, so they'll get a good possession here.
Waxer's been fairly quiet throughout this game. Has the ball right now, bouncing off of defenders. Multiple flags fly.
We'll see how many penalties actually have
3 of
here.
them. Wow.
So the last one is going to be unsportsmanlike. We're definitely going to see an unsportsmanlike penalty on Patrick Mullen, who entered himself into the game. He definitely said something to the ref as that was ending. I'm not sure who got the initial slash and holding call, but hopefully we'll get some good information from the box here.
Yeah, maybe some residual frustration for Patrick Mullen again. I mean, the only reason he's not a starting.
So we have 2 minutes for a hold on number 2. Then we have a slash on number 6, and then number 2 for unsportsmanlike. So those are the 3 penalties.
Yeah, so Patrick Mullen, we did not notice him on the field in the first half. Again, he was the starting center on a Southside team that won the Long Island Championship and fell up in Glens Falls in the New York State semifinals. So Mullen, that was over the weekend, so he only got back on Sunday, had a really limited time to acclimate, and probably trying to do a little bit too much there. As the penalty, he leaves him out for 30 seconds, and then Ryan Castle out for a full minute, so great chance for Syosset, down by 2. So Waxer dumps it off, and the shot tickles the back of the net. Put in that time by Adam Giovinco for his second.
If you give Syosset an inch, they'll take it. Finally able to put together a good man opportunity. Great high to low shot by Giovinco. And we're back in a 1-goal ball game.
John Calabria said Giovinco, the type of kid who will just go down to the local park here in Syosset, 200 balls, and take shots for hours on end. And you see the product of all that work right here.
Waxer, great skip pass by Waxer. You see Giovinco was working it up the ladder. He hit it to Desquie. Desquie moved it to Waxer. Waxer was expected to move it back to Desquie. He threw the skip pass back down to Giovinco, and Giovinco changes levels on his shot, goes high to low, and puts that by Tommy Gentile.
And a pivotal win in the circle for Melkonian as they look to regain momentum. And again, we haven't really seen either team. I don't want to frame it as a stall, but just put together a coherent stretch of ball movement and possession. I mean, everything has been so rapid fire. And Dave, I mean, some of that you can attribute to sloppiness, but it also feels like there's a real urgency for these guys. First game back, all wanting to show what they can do offensively.
Yeah, listen, there's two ways you can open up a season. You could play an opponent that's much weaker than you, and you could know that you're going to tune things up and get a win, or you could challenge yourselves like Southside and Syosset does early in the year. Nothing is guaranteed. Similar skill levels. You're both in a similar situation where you haven't had much time to practice and prepare and have new players adjust into new roles, but that's what makes this great. We've seen a sloppy game, but we've been seeing an even-paced game, and iron's going to sharpen iron for both of these squads.
And a spin move inside. Jump shot by West. Hit off one of the goalposts. A scoop in traffic from Aiello. Aiello had a quiet first half. As a sophomore, he had 3 goals against Syosset in the opener last year. Tricky catch that time from DiPietro. A little more than halfway through this third quarter, the action is picked up.
Another penalty for Syosset. It's to be a slash on Zuleta. I got to say, the referees are calling this game really tight. We've seen a lot of penalties, but I haven't seen a lot of out-of-control checks by, for my money. Happy to err on the side of safety. I don't think that any of the calls have been bad, so to speak, but a lot of physical contact penalties.
A nice screen. West taking advantage of it. Finkelstein thought the ball was in. You saw him give up, realized it was still just outside that line, and able to get the stop. You could see Finkelstein reacting as if the ball had already gone in. And got a reprieve, a second chance, but now the man-up opportunity for Southside.
Chase Yaris comes in at short stick D-midi for this man-down stanza for Syosset. See what Coach DiPietro is able to cook up. For the most part, Owen West has been doing a lot of the work for the Southside offense, so let's see if we can get some other guys involved here.
Jack Meyerhofer up top, number 21 in red. It's West playing catch with Mills. The penalty being a minute long against Zuleta. Just over 30 seconds left on it. Shot off the crossbar that time. Fired by Aiello.
That was a good shot by Aiello. Good release. Ultimately off the frame of the goal, and that will credit another save to Finkelstein with a nice outlet there to Desquie.
Desquie's been a one-man press break for Syosset.
Again, he might not have all the biomechanics with his shooting down, but those hockey legs are in shape and able to go the full 100 yards.
Such a weapon for Syosset. For my money, he's been their best player so far, at least offensively, outside of course, Finkelstein.
He's definitely been the hustle guy, no question. Finkelstein has been keeping the score reasonable, and Desquie's been the one catalyzing the ball up the field. Otherwise, Syosset would be completely playing out of their own end this evening.
He's yet to notch a goal. Trying to leave that one in front of the cage, but a whole lot of bodies in the area.
McPhee was open. I think that Syosset was in the crease there, and that's why we have a turnover. I think McPhee was in the crease off ball, and Southside will repossess here. And here comes our man from the basketball court, Patrick Mullen, seeing significant minutes on close defense now in the second half.
Providence commit. They have really high expectations for him, and there's another one for Southside. Jack Meyerhofer gets in on the party.
Nice off-ball cut by Meyerhofer. And another nice assist by Patrick Aiello. You know, the way to get past Finkelstein is to ultimately be in situations like that where you're passing the ball where he's out of position, because he's going to see every shot clearly, eye to eye. Aiello, again, great job finding the open cut there. A little bit of lazy defense by Will Cawley to allow Southside to have that much space. So you see that he'll get subbed out here as Syosset will make a change and bring in Jake Gagliano on defense, sophomore.
And Gagliano's had some good moments. Cawley, a guy with extremely high expectations, already getting interest from D1 programs, but as you noted, still very young, still developing for the Syosset program.
Jake Gagliano, the brother of Joe Gagliano, number 11, who's, as you said, had a great afternoon at short stick D-Midi. But again, early in the season, Coach Calabria isn't going to be afraid to shake up the lineup.
Dylan Stadler trying to beat a triple team by himself, somehow able to maintain possession of the ball. Now circling from X. Giovinco pivoting, no space. Cut off well that time defensively by Nick Papadopoulos.
Really great team defense by Southside, keeping their head on a swivel and knowing who the Dodger is.
This is a Southside team, for as sloppy as they looked at points, offensively, defensively, really looked to be in midseason form. Waxer, that one ricocheting off the crossbar, nearly knocking the goalpost down.
That should be a red ball. That should be red. We'll see what the ref calls here. Oh, he has offsides. No, he has offsides on red. That's the right call. Red was close to the ball. He was the one who went over first. That's a good recognition by the official. And certainly a missed opportunity for Syosset off the post. That was a good shot by Waxer. Waxer was matched up with the shorty. He had Melkonian. So not only a shorty, but a shorty who's been tired taking face-offs all day. And again, just missed the inside frame of the net on that shot.
Giovinco, good idea, but couldn't fit the pass through as he was trying to find Zach McPhee, who scored the opening goal for Syosset. We've seen that a couple of times now, attempts to McPhee going awry.
Logan Kelly's had a nice interception on the crease. Ryan McNicholas had a nice interception on the crease. Again, Southside is really doing some impressive things to limit Syosset's ability to score.
Yeah, part of it for the Cyclones is their size defensively around the cage. You mentioned Mullen is about 6'5". Kelly, a bigger guy as well.
Castle's not small.
Yeah, affects a lot of what Syosset can do, a lot of what Syosset can see.
Yeah. And Syosset, a good defensive team, but they're just a little bit more agile. Zuletta's as aggressive and as physical as any defenseman in the nation, but he's not the biggest guy. Again, he's going to play D3 level at Williams. You look at what Southside has on the other side of the table with D1 recruits going to Providence. That extra size and strength really does a lot. But again, nothing to take away from the Syosset defense. They're great college-bound talent. They're just really more shifty over strength and size.
John Calabria noting on Zuleta, I think this is what you're getting at, but basically every attribute you want in a D1 defenseman other than his size. That was a tricky shot. I don't know how Finkelstein got low enough, and I guess that was why it was off point from Ryan Meyerhofer.
Cute little Canadian shuffle attempt by Meyerhofer. Unable to get it on the frame of the goal. It bounced outside on what they like to call a mom goal here in Nassau County.
Finkelstein so confident coming out of the cage, beating the ride by himself.
Oh, Acevedo.
Yeah, that would have been a golden opportunity. Now he's dispossessed.
Oh, it also negated such a great job by Logan Freeman to move the ball up there.
And back the other way, it's Aiello. Aiello pushed, fires at the last second, wide of the cage, right in front of the goal mouth.
Impressive that Aiello, I think, skipped that off the crossbar. He didn't have a great angle at the goal. He's been doing a good job seeing the field and has had some good assists here in the second half. Looked a little bit off-brand and slow in the first half, but number 5 is certainly coming into form here.
Just 10 seconds to go. Pass by DeFrancisca behind his head and in. A magic trick for Cullen Lynch and a 7-4 lead for Southside.
Off speed behind the back shot bouncers will go. Cullen Lynch, the only sophomore on the Southside team, scoring a big goal there. And also a really great assist by Russell DeFrancisca to find Mullen. You see the sophomore super hyped up to once again have the Cyclones up 3 goals on Syosset. The way that you beat Finkelstein, again, is on the crease, off-ball cuts. He'll see every shot that you take from mid-range and outside all the way. The way that you're going to score on him is cut to his backside when he's not looking and quickly put it into that far side of the cage before he has a chance to react.
Melkonian ups his face-off percentage. No time to do anything with it. 7 goals for Southside, 4 for Syosset. The Braves were excellent at the late-game comeback a year ago. They'll need to replicate those efforts here as we step aside and head on to the fourth quarter on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Ravi Viswani. I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Northwell Health, Syosset Hospital. I specialize in sports medicine and the treatment of knee, shoulder, hip, and elbow injuries. So I'd like to talk to you guys today about ACL tears. ACL tears are a very common injury in athletes. The ACL is one of the 4 main ligaments of the knee, and when the ACL tears, it compromises the stability of the knee. Typically, when young athletes have an ACL tear, we do typically recommend surgery because unfortunately the ACL does not heal without surgery. And by restoring the ACL function, we can then allow the athlete to go back to their desired sport. If you have an ACL tear, you should see an orthopedic surgeon. I see patients in Woodbury, Belmore, and Great Neck, and I'd be happy to see any athlete who's in.
Fun opener here at Syosset High School. Southside leads at 7-4 as we head into the fourth quarter here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We wanted to once again thank Michael Lucchese of Raymond James for sponsoring this game. And also a reminder, our breakout goaltending save of the game coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We've seen some heroics from Zach Finkelstein, of course. Some time for Tommy Gentile to take the crown. You got to imagine Syosset going to be desperate, going to be putting some shots on the cage. 2 incredibly talented goaltenders, 2 All-American candidates, both of whom have flashed today.
A battle of goaltenders for sure. Until Finkelstein decommitted from Binghamton, this was actually going to be a duel between 2 future D1 goaltenders, but again, 2 of the best that the county has to offer.
And what an end to that third quarter for Syosset. I mean, that was, or rather Southside, that was such a momentum-changing goal, and now they have another opportunity to add to it. Owen West scooping up the ball, hit forward by Michael Melkonian. But, man, that kind of shot by Cullen Lynch, Dave, that has to fire you up if you're Southside heading into the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah. You're within seconds of the end of a quarter. That gives you a lot of momentum. You have an underclassman scoring on a specialty shot past a hot goaltender. No question in the world that that's going to have a big shift on the next 11 minutes, 30 seconds.
And just in terms of feel, right, like 2 goals versus 3 goals if you're Syosset, there's a tinge of desperation to 3 goals. 2 goals feels very manageable with a full quarter left.
2 goals is really the most dangerous lead in lacrosse.
West clang that one off the post as he nearly had Finkelstein beat.
And great recognition by Logan Freeman to be the first on the ball and get this back for Syosset.
Braves needing a quality possession. 4 goals through 3 quarters. Going to have to double up on those efforts to close out this game.
And you see Syosset now getting creative with their clear and putting the long stick midi over the 50-yard line to cause confusion for the Southside Riders. A nice little wrinkle that Calabria has put in here in the fourth quarter. But, man, a really solid offensive possession is just what the doctor ordered for the Braves.
And you just look at this from a season-wide perspective. Syosset got off to such a slow start last year, losing their first 2 games as Disqui forces a tough save that time by Gentile, but he's up to the task. And then you look at Southside. They won their first 6 games last year, so they're looking to replicate that, and a golden chance to do so here. Lizito coming up from defense and corking a bomb from up top, and it'll kick off transition the other way. Trying to run it down. Is Disqui able to do so? Bounce pass. That was nice. Waxer to pay it off. Can't do so.
Oh, baby. If Waxer was able to finish that, that was like SC top 10 sort of content. Great save by Finkelstein. Slow outlet. Disqui did a great job on the angle of that ground ball. Threw a bounce pass to Waxer, who's just been struggling to score tonight.
Amazing how calm Disqui was in that situation. Didn't seem rushed at all. Stadler overcooked that pass, looking to set up Waxer again. Now Southside breaking. The long stick running with the ball. It's O'Toole. And now Aiello.
If you're Southside, you want to slow it down here. Aiello's getting a lot of pressure. You want to get O'Toole off the field, get an exchange, get a shorty there.
O'Toole's off. And Owen West pops into his spot. West rarely comes off the field, getting just a quick breather here at the start of the fourth quarter.
And this is the matchup you want with the shorty, with Chase Yaris. Definitely a green light.
West using that green light, but not much on that shot. Easy stuff for Finkelstein on the other end of it. Up ahead now to Ostrager. Ostrager, Waxer, wide open. Giovinco, a pump and a score for Adam Giovinco. And the senior has a hat trick in his first game.
Very important first point of the season for Waxer. Again, we've talked about how the freshman has been struggling in this game. A few errant passes, just missing the cage on his scoring opportunities. But that was a crucial first assist and first point of the season for him. Great job by Ostranger, sparking the fast break. Waxer was at the point of the fast break. Great skip pass to find Giovinco at the low left-hand corner. Giovinco threw about 7 different fakes there on Tommy Gentile to get that past him. And now here we are, 2 goals, just under 9 minutes to play.
Waxer was so dominant over the summer at the club level, playing against his opponents his age. But, Dave, I'm sure you experienced this when you were in high school. It's an acclimation process, right, when you go back to playing guys who are older, more physical, more experienced, even a little bit more savvy than you are.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Again, I thought he would come into this game with a lot of gusto, having been a dominant 8th grader. But as you said, after last year's varsity season ended, he went back to playing within his age group in middle schoolers over the course of the summer. So he's adjusting back into this high level of play. I think he's going to have a great season. Again, the assist that he just had was crucial in getting his confidence up. You see as he picks up the ball here for this man up, he has a little bit more swagger in his step. And again, he has 4 great years of varsity lacrosse ahead of him.
And that is such a big factor in your first game of the season, rediscovering that energy, rediscovering that swagger, that confidence. Is the penalty that time. Might have been another slash goes against Southside, a cross-check that time. And push in the
on
back.
Melkonian again. So again, we see these situations where the star face-off midfielder tries to go out of his comfort zone and make a big play, and it's just to the detriment of his squad.
And another chance for Syosset to cut it back to a 1-goal game. They did it in the third quarter, but the respite was brief. We've seen a lack of urgency at points. Not this time, as Stadler got that shot off fast, but off the mark.
Waxer was doing a great job with the skip passes. That was another good one. Stadler just rings it off the post. Syosset's hit the post a bunch of times in this game. If they're just half an inch to the left, you could have a different score right now.
4 seconds left on the penalty. Got to shoot quick. And Disqui couldn't put that one past Gentile.
Disqui, the hockey player, likes to change levels there. Gentile was able to see it, but Syosset gets it back. Errant, clear by Southside.
It could come back to bite him. Waxer.
No reason to rush here for Syosset. 2-goal game, 8 minutes left. You're dominating possession in this quarter. Just chill. You've had issues possessing the ball all game long. You're finally catching your stride. Chung looks confident out there. Waxer looks confident out there. Just make the most of this.
Stadler held scoreless so far, and that'll continue to be the case, though Waxer in position to back him up.
Nothing wrong with that. Just continue to back up your shots and apply pressure. Just keep possession. If you're going to shoot like that, just make sure you have the backup behind. You don't want to give it back to Southside on a wide shot.
Waxer tracked by Mullen. Mullen, a junior. Waxer, just a freshman, forced into the crease and losing the ball.
I liked what Waxer was trying to do there. Take some initiative again. Mullen's just a little bit taller, a little bit stronger, a little bit more experienced.
And Lozito nearly throws the ball away again. That's a tough play made by Logan Kelly. And now losing it, trying to go up the field for Southside was James Sullivan. And a lot of sloppiness for the Cyclones now, right, as we were complimenting that aspect of their game.
Failure to advance. Syosset gets the ball back, man.
I think we saw 3 different missed passes just on that one clearance attempt.
Yep. It was Zuleta who actually did a good job of keeping it 50-50 and checking out of the stick of the south side attackers. They were moving it up the field, but again, this is great. Syosset's put some good possessions together. They're applying pressure. They're backing up their shots. They're getting the ball back on the ride. This is what you want to be doing if you're Coach Calabria right now. Syosset is a squee or a waxer goal away from really having the momentum here.
Yeah, tough look that time for Disqui. Giovinco trying to keep it alive, making the scoop a little bit more complicated, but taken now by Kelly.
Southside will have a slow clear here. But you see how Ostranger applying pressure with the long stick in the offensive end.
And we haven't seen a lot of this. Owen West coming back to help against the ride.
Yep. Again, we know what Syosset's riding plan is. Get it to Disqui early and often. Yeah. Southside's been a little bit more dynamic here.
A one-man job. Cross field. Livingston cut off well by Azevedo. 5.5 minutes to go. And no reason to rush for the Cyclones up by 2 goals.
Now it's important for them to repossess and take some air out of the ball. Syosset had 3 good possessions in a row. Your defense is tired. This is their opportunity to reel it in a little bit.
Livingston, the Chaminade transfer, scored the 4th goal of this game for Southside. This is an offense last year that was so reliant on Brady West to generate double teams and triple teams to create. Now they have multiple options. Livingston, that time, hooking up with Ryan Meyerhofer, and the lead back up to 3 for Southside.
I've said it once, I'll say it a million times over the course of this game. This is how you beat Finkelstein. You dodge to GLE on one side, and you find the open cutter on the other. Here we see Livingston, boom, Meyerhofer. Shoot where the goalie's not. There's no goalie fast enough. Not Finkelstein, not Salacasio, not Scotty Rogers, not Jack and Cannon. No one's going to make that save.
I want to take a second to appreciate Ryan Meyerhofer because, again, doesn't get the pub of a West or an Aiello, but actually is their second leading points returner this season, their leading goal scorer returner this season, and was their best shooter in terms of efficiency last year. Made 41% of his shots, and Steve DiPietro said, look, nothing he does is particularly flashy, but you look at the box score at the end of every game, he has 2 goals and assists, game in and game out.
Well, he scores off ball a lot. He's really not a ball carrier. He's just ultimately at the right place at the right time, and the distributors find him. So he get lost over the course of the game, but when you look at the score sheet afterwards, he's hard not to notice, no question.
And that's a skill, right? I mean, that understanding of space and positioning as that one bounces wide for Cleary. Sent up top, battle for it at midfield. Trying to run it down is Meyerhofer. And it's Syosset ball. Or, excuse me, it'll be Southside possession, but starting a little further
moving
back.
It back, yep.
So Cole DiPietro, he's been fairly quiet, held in check well by Syosset. You wonder if he has a moment in here to maybe get the dagger. Though, again, no urgency for Southside. Now with the 3-goal lead, 4 minutes to go. Syosset had that great stretch, and it just felt like, Dave, that those couple possessions were key. You said it. They executed great, but in the end weren't able to put a goal on the board.
They did everything they needed to do. They tired down the defense. They moved the ball around. They backed up their shots. Ultimately, they just hit the post too many times.
Owen West playing a game of keep away behind the back. Ball alive in front of the cage. Finkelstein out to help, leaving the net open. A sea of white. The ball squirts out. It'll be a race that Syosset will win. Logan Friedman on the recovery. A desperation heave to the other side of the field to Will Cawley. Under 3.5 to go, Syosset now has to operate with urgency. Munoz streaking ahead, pedal down.
3 goals in 3 minutes. You don't have all the time in the world here. You have to be very, very efficient on every possession. And you almost have to think of possession ahead when you have a disadvantage in the face-off game. But the squeeze got to go, or Syosset's going to call a timeout and figure out exactly how they're going to manufacture the next 3 minutes and try to tie this one up.
John Calabria taking the time with 3:02 to go. And we want to remind you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, we offer college recruiting videos that include custom editing effects to help your players stand out, a choice of music, and a link for college coaches to find. So why sign up? It gives you an opportunity to save thousands upon thousands upon thousands, you can ask my parents about this, of money in college tuition. Help land your son or daughter a spot on the team of their dreams and stand out from the competition. If you mention this ad, you get 10% off. All you have to do is contact us at 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. So, Dave, 3 minutes to go. 8-5 ball game. I know you've some experience getting a dramatic win on this field in your time at Jericho High School, but this time we're going to look at it from the home team's perspective. What does Syosset have to do here with 3:02 on the clock?
They need to be very efficient with off-ball movement. They need 3 quick hits, and ultimately isolating a Dodger is not going to be effective until you're looking at the 3rd goal. You need 2 quick ones here. You need to be efficient off the whistle. You're probably going to have to set more than 1 screen in order to throw the defense off, because ultimately you need to find the back of the net 3 times in as many minutes, and you're not going to have multiple opportunities to create an isolation dodge.
You know, I wonder if they put the ball back in the stick of David Discouy. I mean, he has certainly been the most solid handler in this ball game, and also has the hardest shot on the team.
As of recently, Waxer has been doing a very good job of finding quick skip passes. So when the ball hits his stick, I almost expect that the next person to touch the ball is going to be a shooter, but we'll see what Coach Calabria drew up here.
Ball will start off in the stick of Discouy. 3:02 on the clock. 4th quarter, Syosset trying to avenge a loss to Southside a year ago. Opening game of the season. It was a 9-8 win for the Cyclones. Quick look for Discouy. Gentile all over it. Maybe a candidate for our save of the game there.
Southside should possess here. They have no reason to go to the goal. They should play keep away for as long as possible, maybe even call a timeout soon.
Aiello, coach's son, understanding that incredibly well. His father, Tom, a coach at Cary High School, and a teammate of both these head coaches, John Calabria and Steve DiPietro out of Delphi.
Cole DiPietro now stepping on the field. We know he could run with the ball and play keep away by himself, but so can West, because he is as fast, as powerful as anyone. Finkelstein now out of the cage.
So West baits 2 defenders, Friedman and Finkelstein following him. West doing a nice job running away with it, and Steve DiPietro wants to draw something up with 2:02 left and just ensure that everyone is on the same page. So we'll take a timeout as well here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Southside up by 3 with a little over 2 minutes to go.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
And a look inside the Southside huddle featuring Tommy Gentile. He's had some incredible saves in this one, but man, it's going to be tough to beat Zach Finkelstein in terms of our breakout goaltending save of the game. Finkelstein, 10 saves in the first half. Probably has tacked on another 4 or 5 in the second half, maybe a little bit slower by Finkelstein. As you noted, David, feels like Syosset slowly but surely has figured out the way to beat him.
Yeah, again, ultimately, shooting on him where he has vision is not going to go. He has a great way of approaching the ball and has great emotional intelligence in the cage. He approaches every shot the same way, regardless of what the score is. But again, Southside has been doing a good job spreading out their offense, using off-ball movement, and ultimately giving Finkelstein a less of a chance.
West tracked by Zuleta. The double team comes. West sandwiched by Will Cawley and Zuleta, and the flag flies in before West puts that ball in the net.
Well, West should get a penalty just for shooting that ball. That should be a delay of game. I don't know what the call is going to be. It looks like Finkelstein is going to get a penalty. Maybe he threw a slash or an aggressive check in there. I'm not sure. But he's coming to the bench. And it looks like Will Cawley is coming to the bench as well.
So with Finkelstein.
Well, Finkelstein definitely has a penalty. We are going to see a change as the 8th grader is going to come in.
Max Glambowski, excuse me. And not someone that John Calabria expected to end up putting into the game today is now Finkelstein. Maybe he is allowed to stay in the game. He's coming back out.
Maybe the penalty was not directly assessed to him. I'm really not sure. It looks like they're going to ultimately ping this one on Cawley.
Will Cawley, again, just a sophomore, similar to Brody Waxer in terms of the hype he's getting on the defensive side of the ball. A little bit of a rough day at points today, but someone with an incredibly high ceiling for Syosset, though. Him sitting for a minute here will not help the Braves' efforts trying to get this ball back.
Chase Yaris will come in at short stick D-midi on this man down. Opportunity for Syosset, and it looks like Southside's going to call a timeout and make sure they have things together here.
So Southside taking a time. We'll take one as well, as the Cyclones will be a man up when we return on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
They're not going to go.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net.
So we're going to take a quick look at the upcoming schedules for both teams. For Southside, Port Washington, Manhasset, Long Beach, Farmingdale, an absolute gauntlet for the Cyclones will help to have a 1-0 start. And then for Syosset, similar story, Garden City, then a private school in Lehigh, Uniondale, and then Mercer Island on April 11th at 2 p.m. So plenty of good games. That Garden City game is on the Varsity Media Sports Network. A matchup between two perennial powers. Cool to see that matchup. I know last year they didn't get a chance to meet, but you always like to see those Class A, Class Bs. I mean, today getting one of them, but that'll certainly be an interesting one. Of course, Garden City losing Jack Cascadden, Brendan Staub, but if their football season's any indicator, they won't have any trouble reloading.
And how about Syosset playing Mercer Island out of Washington State, coast-to-coast rivalry?
Yeah, that is a cool one. We didn't get a chance to, but I'd be interested to talk to John Calabria about what the process of setting that up is. I mean, oftentimes you'll see teams on Long Island take on opponents from Connecticut, but rarely you go cross-country. Occasionally Florida.
Florida early in the season,
St. Thomas Aquinas we've seen come up to Long Island a couple times to play, and vice versa.
But it looks like Mercer Islands will be taking the trip from Seattle to JFK to play on the East Coast.
Southside a man up, 3 goals up, just a game of keep away at this point.
Syosset really not in a position to double it all. Makes sense that West has the ball in his stick. They'll just work at the perimeter here.
Yeah, the Southside not even looking towards the cage, and you got to imagine Steve DiPietro saying, look, the only way we're losing is if we give up the ball. With just 5 seconds left on the penalty, Will Cawley will be able to come back on, or someone else for Syosset. Penalty's over. And charging back into play for the Braves, Nick Padula.
Here comes the double now that we're evened up again.
West cutting right through it. Easy goal. He'll pad his total.
Ooh, and he's hurt.
Yeah, maybe just hitting that left forearm was Owen West. I'm not sure if it was a stick coming in or what, but appears to be a little shaken up.
Hopefully it was just the pierce of a funny bone. Again, we are playing in temperatures that are a little bit colder when compared to the rest of the season. But, man, he is holding that arm close to his body. Take a look here. Splits the defense. Seemed like it was right at the end where he caught a slash actually as he was finishing that shot.
You're getting looked at now, his 3rd goal of the game, but a costly one as we take a look at our upcoming schedule here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Huntington, a team that did really well in Suffolk last year. Surprising finish, 12-4. We're a top 3 seed. They'll play Cold Spring Harbor, the defending state champions out of Class D. Speaking of state champions, Garden City taking on Mount Sinai, down the number 1 player in the country, but 2 of his younger brothers holding up what's been an incredible run for the Mustangs. Then Ward Melville against Chaminade. Southside taking on defending Class A champion Port Washington. Massapequa Chaminade, that's one I am not going to miss. That seems like a fantastic game. And then Garden City and Syosset on March 29th. I know, Dave, on my personal schedule, I have Garden City, Cold Spring Harbor coming up. That'll be a lot of fun. And a scoreboard update for those fans across Long Island. St. Anthony knocking off Chaminade in their first game of the season, 12-10. So our top 2 teams, in Chaminade taking an early season loss, and you're going to have their next matchup with Ward Melville.
Really excited for that game this weekend. Again, being a Nassau County boy from Jericho, not typical for us to play against private Catholic schools or schools out in Suffolk County, but ultimately I've had a lot of friends and a lot of great players who have come out of those programs. I was texting with friends of mine from both sides of that rivalry earlier today, and 2023 should be a good matchup. It seems like it's almost 50-50 between the skill level of those teams coming into this year.
Just feels like just in general, I mean, every year, look, all these teams want to play the best, but this seems like just a great year for non-conference play, as Zuleta doing his best to evade the double team. Syosset just looking to tack one on late in the closing seconds. Azevedo will rip from up top, out of bounds. Possession
will be Southside.
Yeah, we'll go back to Southside. So that'll do it with 10 seconds to go.
Logan Kelly should dribble it out here, to use a March Madness term.
Yeah, after 3 straight 1-goal losses to open the season for Southside, to Syosset, a win last year and a win this year for Steve DiPietro's squad. 9-5 over the Braves, and a statement for a team with very high expectations coming into this season. And coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network, as you see Southside celebrate the hot start to their year, our breakout goaltending save of the game. Maybe Syosset will get a win today. We'll find out next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
So here we go, our breakout goaltending save of the game. Breakout goaltending offers some of the best training on Long Island for boys and girls of all ages and abilities. Long Island's most comprehensive goalie training. And look, if you want to end up like Zach Finkelstein one day, that is the place to go. As you see this incredible stop by Finkelstein.
Yep, saw Cole DiPietro do a good job operating from the midfield. Did a little bit of a sweep from left to right. Sidearm low shot. And Finkelstein, much like a lot of the shots that he saw from distance today, just saw it straight away.
And the cool thing about breakout goaltending is they offer programs for every level. If you're a beginner, they have the Comp 60 option. If you're in middle school, the middle school elite program is the way to go. And then, of course, the high school elite program. But then if you want to hit the next level, the college/committed program, Zach Finkelstein, I'm sure, operating on that level, a former Division I commitment. And the incredible thing is they have a 2-to-1 player-to-coach ratio. So your child, whether on the boys' side or on the girls' side of things, going to get a lot of attention and staffed by men and women dedicated to the development of individual goalies, both physically and mentally. If you want a chance to join the program, you can contact them at breakoutgoaltending.com. 877-GOAL-121 is the number to call, or on all forms of social media at BreakoutGT. So a big thanks to our entire team, executive producer Ben Turchin, our technical director Brian Butler, on camera Ron Pierre, Becca Kazas, for my partner Dave Franklin. I'm Gavin Shaw, signing off from Syosset High School. A big win to open the season for the Southside Cyclones, 9-5 over the Braves.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.